Kyler Murray's future in the NFL may already be taking shape, and if the latest reports are accurate, the Minnesota Vikings could be positioning themselves to make one of the most intriguing quarterback additions of the upcoming league year. While nothing is officially finalized, the growing expectation around the league is that once Murray becomes available, Minnesota will be one of the first and most aggressive teams ready to bring him in. To understand why this situation has become such a fascinating storyline, we need to look at the circumstances surrounding both Murray and the teams reportedly involved. For Kyler Murray, the past few seasons with the Arizona Cardinals have been complicated. Once viewed as the unquestioned face of the franchise after being selected first overall in the 2019 NFL Draft, Murray's tenure in Arizona has gradually shifted from excitement and promise to uncertainty. Injuries, inconsistent team performance, and organizational changes have all contributed to a situation where both player and franchise appear ready to move in different directions. Now, at just 28 years old, Murray finds himself in a unique position in his career. Despite years of starting experience and flashes of elite playmaking ability, he is approaching a rare opportunity, the chance to explore the open market and evaluate multiple teams for the first time since entering the league. That alone changes the dynamics of the situation dramatically. According to reports from NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero, the Minnesota Vikings have already emerged as the early favorite to sign Murray once he becomes available. While Pelissero emphasized that Murray and his representatives will likely take their time evaluating offers, the Vikings are believed to be very high on his potential fit within their offensive system. And when you examine Minnesota's current quarterback situation, the connection begins to make more sense. The Vikings are entering a transitional phase at the most important position in football. Their 2024 first-round draft pick, J.J. McCarthy, was originally viewed as the long-term answer for the franchise. However, the early stages of his professional career have not unfolded as smoothly as the organization had hoped. McCarthy has dealt with multiple physical setbacks during his first two seasons, limiting both his availability and his development. Across those campaigns, he has managed to appear in just 10 regular season starts. While the Vikings still believe in his potential, the reality is that he remains largely unproven at the NFL level. For a team with playoff ambitions and an offense built around explosive playmakers, that level of uncertainty at quarterback is difficult to ignore. This is where Kyler Murray enters the picture. From a pure talent standpoint, Murray remains one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league. His combination of arm strength, mobility, and improvisational ability allows him to create offense in ways that very few players can replicate. At his best, he has shown the ability to stretch defenses vertically while also threatening them with his legs on broken plays. Those traits could translate extremely well into Minnesota's offensive philosophy. Head coach Kevin O'Connell has built a reputation as one of the NFL's most creative offensive minds, emphasizing timing routes, spacing concepts, and quarterback-friendly reads. In that environment, a player like Murray could potentially thrive, especially if he is surrounded by the type of supporting cast the Vikings already possess. Minnesota's offensive roster features several weapons capable of maximizing a quarterback's skill set. With a strong receiving group and an evolving offensive line, Murray would not be asked to carry the entire offense on his own, something that was often the case during his years in Arizona. Instead, he could operate within a more balanced system designed to highlight his strengths. Financially, the move could also make sense for Minnesota. Because the Arizona Cardinals still owe Murray $38 million in fully guaranteed money for next season, any team signing him afterward would likely be able to do so on a very modest one-year deal. Reports suggest that Murray could sign for around $1.3 million, essentially the veteran minimum. For a quarterback with his experience and upside, that is an extremely low-risk investment. From the Vikings' perspective, bringing Murray in on a short-term deal would provide both competition and insurance at the quarterback position. Even if McCarthy eventually develops into the franchise quarterback the team hopes he can become, having Murray available as an experienced starter could stabilize the offense in the meantime. And if Murray performs well, then the Vikings suddenly find themselves with a very different kind of decision to make. Of course, this situation also carries major implications for J.J. McCarthy. When a team brings in a player with Murray's resume, it inevitably changes the dynamics of the quarterback room. While the Vikings may publicly frame the move as a competition, the reality is that Murray would likely enter the building as the favorite to start. That could push McCarthy into the QB2 role, at least temporarily. But interestingly, that might not necessarily be a negative outcome for the young quarterback. Many young passers benefit from spending additional time learning the nuances of the NFL game without the immediate pressure of being the full-time starter. If McCarthy is able to develop behind a veteran like Murray while continuing to improve his mechanics and decision-making, the Vikings could end up with two capable options at the position. Still, it's clear that the coaching staff is prioritizing immediate competitiveness. Minnesota is not entering a rebuilding phase. The roster remains talented enough to contend in the NFC, and the organization appears determined to avoid wasting prime years from its offensive stars. Signing Murray could represent a strategic attempt to bridge the gap between present competitiveness and long-term development. There is also another interesting element to consider. Murray himself may see Minnesota as the ideal landing spot for restarting his career narrative. For much of his time in Arizona, Murray was asked to operate within an unstable environment. Coaching changes, roster turnover, and inconsistent offensive protection all contributed to a situation where sustained success was difficult to achieve. Joining the Vikings would offer a different type of structure. Kevin O'Connell's system has already proven capable of elevating quarterback play, and Minnesota's organizational stability could provide Murray with the support system he has lacked in recent seasons. In that sense, the Vikings might represent more than just another team interested in signing him. They might represent a genuine opportunity for a career reset. However, Murray and his agent are unlikely to rush into a decision. As Pelissero pointed out, this is the first time in Murray's career that he will have the opportunity to speak with multiple organizations as a potential free agent. That process alone could be valuable, giving him insight into how different franchises view his role and long-term value. Several teams across the league are still searching for answers at quarterback. Even if the Vikings currently appear to be the favorites, Murray will almost certainly explore every possible option before committing. After all, the next contract he signs could define the next phase of his career. For now, though, the momentum surrounding Minnesota continues to grow. If the reports prove accurate and Murray ultimately chooses the Vikings, the move could become one of the most intriguing storylines of the upcoming NFL season. A former number one overall pick seeking redemption, a young quarterback still fighting to establish himself, and a coaching staff determined to keep the team competitive, all converging inside the same quarterback room. In the NFL, situations like this rarely unfold in predictable ways. But one thing is clear. Kyler Murray's next decision could reshape not only his own career, but the future direction of the Minnesota Vikings as well.